Welcome back to episode 37 of the Ramayana. High up on the isolated peaks of Mount Rishyamuk, Lord Rama asks the exiled monkey king Sugriva a simple but piercing question. He wants to know how two brothers, who once shared a home and a deep bond, became bitter, bloodthirsty enemies. The answer lies in the past. Sugriva was once absolutely devoted to his older brother, Bali, serving him like a shadow. They lived in peace until one night, a massive demon named Mayavi arrived at the gates of Kishkinda, roaring into the darkness and challenging Bali to a fight to the death. Bali, enraged by the disrespect, charged out of the city with Sugriva right behind him. They chased the terrified demon to the mouth of a dark underground cave. Bali gave Sugriva a strict order: stand guard. He would go into the pitch-black depths alone to finish the fight. Days turned into weeks, and weeks bled into an agonizing year. Sugriva stood frozen at his post, listening to the suffocating silence of the cave. Finally, the silence broke, and a thick river of blood flowed out from the darkness, carrying the horrifying implication that Bali had been slaughtered. Terrified that the demon would emerge next and ravage Kishkinda, Sugriva made a gut-wrenching choice. He heaved a massive boulder across the mouth of the cave, sealing it shut to protect his people, and returned home to mourn his brother. He acted out of protective instinct and civic duty. He believed he was saving his kingdom. He had no idea that he had just set in motion a tragic misunderstanding that would completely destroy his family. Bali wasn't dead. The blood belonged to the demon. When Bali returned to the entrance and found it blocked, he shattered the massive rock and marched back to Kishkinda. He found Sugriva sitting on the throne, crowned as king by the city's anxious ministers. Bali went blind with rage. He refused to hear a single word of explanation, concluding Sugriva trapped him in the cave to orchestrate a coup and steal the crown. The punishment was extremely swift and brutal. Bali physically battered his younger brother and banished him from the kingdom entirely. To maximize the cruelty, Bali capped Sugriva's beloved wife, Rama, holding her captive in the palace. Beaten and humiliated, Sugriva fled to the only place on earth where he could survive, Mount Rishyamuk. Sage Matang had previously placed a deadly curse on this specific land, decreeing that if Bali ever set foot on the mountain, his head would explode. It was a truly perfect, impenetrable sanctuary. Sugriva has lived on this mountain ever since. He is paralyzed by a deep psychological trauma. He wakes up every day, looking over his shoulder, convinced his brother's immense power is an inescapable curse, and salvation is completely impossible. Hearing this tragic history, Lord Rama invokes the honor of his lineage and makes a fierce, absolute vow. He promises to kill Bali, restore Sugriva to the throne, and return his wife to him, all before the sun sets on that very day. You might expect Sugriva to fall to his knees in gratitude. Instead, he panics. His deep-seated trauma flares up, and he immediately begins to doubt whether Rama actually understands what he is up against. Sugriva knows something Rama doesn't. Bali possesses a supernatural advantage known as Bali's boon, a divine gift that completely breaks the normal rules of combat. This diagram illustrates exactly how the boon works. The moment an opponent steps in front of Bali to fight, the boon activates. It automatically drains half the physical strength from the challenger and transfers it directly into Bali. Bali enters every head-to-head fight with 150% power, while his enemy is instantly reduced to half. Sugriva isn't questioning Rama's courage or his moral character. He is terrified of the impossible physics of fighting a warrior who quite literally steals your strength the moment you look him in the eye. Desperate to make Rama understand, Sugriva points frantically to the physical landscape surrounding Mount Rishyamuk as living proof of Bali's terrifying might. He tells the story of Dundabi, a colossal demon in the shape of a buffalo. Dundabi was the size of a literal mountain and possessed the strength of 1,000 elephants. He traveled to Kishkinda specifically to challenge Bali to a fight. In this visualization of the battle, you can see how Bali dealt with the threat. He defeated Dundabi using sheer, raw force, lifting the monstrous creature over his head and hurling the mountain-sized carcass miles through the air until it crashed near the mountain. Sugriva then points to 7 massive, ancient, tall trees standing in a row. He explains that Bali's power is so immense he can shoot a single arrow and effortlessly pierce the thick trunks of all 7 trees at once. The colossal skeleton rotting in the dirt and the massive trees standing in the distance serve as towering psychological anchors for Sugriva. They are daily reminders of his brother's invincibility, chaining him to his fear year after year. Rama listens to the panic. He looks at the skeleton. He looks at the trees. And then he offers a calm, gentle smile. He steps forward toward the fossilized, mountain-sized remains of Dundubi. With a casual flick of his toe, Rama strikes the massive skeleton. The impact sends an explosive shockwave through the ground, launching the colossal bones miles away into the horizon until they completely disappear from view. While Sugriva stands frozen in shock, Rama silently draws his legendary bow. He turns his aim toward the dense, impenetrable line of the 7 ancient tall trees. With an earth-shattering release, Rama fires a single glowing arrow. It blasts completely through the thick trunks of all 7 trees, curves through the air, and calmly returns directly to his quiver. Quiet awe. Rama shattered the skeleton, and he shattered the trees. In doing so, he completely obliterated the psychological prison of trauma that had held Sugriva captive for years. Sugriva falls to Rama's feet. His years of paralyzing fear evaporate, replaced instantly by absolute devotion and unwavering faith in the warrior standing before him. The ultimate alliance of the epic is officially forged. The exiled king and the divine prince are now bound by a single, unbreakable purpose. The 2 heroes turn their gaze away from the mountain and toward the city of Kishkinda. They begin their march to call the invincible Bali out of his palace, setting the stage for a battle of titans. भारत के महान ग्रंथों और काव्यों के इस शो को लाइक करें, कमेंट करें और एपिसोड